Coming up next, strong reactions to the house insecurity situation in State College.
Affordable housing in Center County is very difficult to find.
Plus, Penn State is offering degrees to incarcerated people starting this summer. What does this mean for those behind bars?
And an unclear future for mechanics in PA as students lose interest in the field. The Center County Report starts now. Good afternoon, I'm Alexis Spalatris. Thanks for joining us for the Center County Report. A local organization addresses the housing crisis in Center County and how to help those impacted. My co-anchor Abby Shashut is here live in the studio with more. Abby?
With the cost of living going up, housing insecurity has become a national conversation. Many housing assistance organizations across Center and Clinton County came together this week in support of those in need. On Monday, St. Mark Lutheran Church's pastor David Pensick led an online housing summit. This event came about when the church received messages from a local elementary school requesting help in providing supplies for families of children struggling with homelessness.
It just struck me, the kids in elementary school who are homeless.
For him and his church, it was important to raise awareness.
To gather some organizations that do a lot of work with helping people who are facing these situations and just to show people, these are some resources that are available, or if you're looking to help.
The church supports many of these organizations through donations. The executive director of the local chapter of Housing Transitions, Morgan Wasakonis, says homelessness in Center County has become more visible in recent years.
I think that people may think that the homelessness is really on the rise, but we hide it very well in Center County. And so I don't think that people have an idea of how many people are really in a housing crisis in this community.
Through its rehousing program and emergency housing vouchers, the organization helps individuals and families find affordable housing. According to Zillow, the median rent in State College is close to $1,500. Wasakonis says that makes it difficult to find affordable housing, but her organization has had some success helping families.
They were able to get a voucher, still pay the same amount of rent. They were able to find their own apartment completely on their own. They have their own lease now, and they're independent living in the community, just doing their thing without housing transitions at this point.
Housing Transitions also provides resources to mental and rehabilitation centers in the area.
A recent report from a state lawmaker and those human relations commissions says it's found what is called a pervasive racial harassment and discrimination at Pennsylvania college campuses. Lock Haven and Indiana University of Pennsylvania are two of the 14 universities visited as our report, which includes interviews conducted with students, faculty, and staff. Penn State was not part of the report. Democratic State Senator Art Haywood and Philadelphia led the project. Haywood and the commission say some progress has been made on some campuses, but more needs to be done.
The longest-serving U.S. Senate leader, Mitch McConnell, plans to step down from his leadership position in November. But the Kentucky Republican says he'll serve out his final term ending in November 2027. The 82-year-old says it's time for a new generation of leaders. McConnell's advisors say this change has no relation to his health. With the presidential contest just 8 months away, the Pennsylvania Election Threats Task Force is meeting to plan how they'll identify and fight election threats. Governor Josh Shapiro created the task force after the state became a magnet for allegations about election fraud in the 2020 presidential election. The group will be led by his top official, Secretary of State Al Schmid.
A police manhunt continues today after the murder of a pregnant Amish woman at her home in northwestern Pennsylvania this week. 23-year-old Rebecca Byler was found by a relative in her home outside of Spartansburg, south of Erie. Her 2 young children were also found unharmed there. Police are asking the public for tips to help solve the crime. They have no suspects in the case just yet.
Penn State will begin offering degrees for incarcerated learners. Reporter Caroline Quick has more.
When most Penn State grads think of their college experience, scenes like Old Main or football games probably come to mind. But for some, it'll look like this, a jail. This summer, Penn State plans to start offering a bachelor's degree program for incarcerated people, the second in the state to do so. The Restorative Justice Initiative's Prison Education Program has been offering non-credit classes throughout Pennsylvania since 2015. Leanna Cole, manager of the Prison Education Program, says students will work toward a degree in rehabilitation and human services at SCI Benner near Bellefonte.
It'll be in person, so we'll have a small cohort of incarcerated students and a classroom inside of the prison, and faculty and staff will go in to teach and work with students.
Students can also intern inside of the prison, like with the Reentry Services Office.
The clearest measurable impact is on employment and recidivism rates, so the chances that you go back to prison plummet with a bachelor's degree.
Since 1970, there's been a 500% increase in people in prisons and in jails across the United States. Right now, about 2 million people are behind bars. The initiative's director, Ephraim Marimon, is a lawyer and was a middle school teacher who says he was disturbed by the firsthand effects of incarceration.
Often enraged by the impact of incarceration on the students and families I was working with, and seeing a direct link and the impact in the classroom.
The Restorative Justice Initiative believes it's not just transforming the lives of incarcerated learners, but changing society.
We believe education is a human right, so education can be transformative. It creates agency, support, and can empower individuals over the choices and the things that impact us in our life.
In University Park, I'm Caroline Quick for the Center County Report.
The goal is to help ease the transition from incarceration to freedom by providing bachelor's degrees to improve the chances of staying out of prison.
Pennsylvania College of Technology in Williamsport is getting a federal grant of more than $1 million to support students looking at transportation careers. Everything from auto mechanics to aviation. Reagan Phillips has more.
Nate Leitner is an auto mechanic at Penn's Auto Service in State College. He's been doing this for 25 years and loves his job. He thinks getting a 2-year college degree to work on today's advanced cars is a plus.
I think as far as mechanics go, as with the way new cars are situated and built, it would help in some aspects, but at the same time there has to be a desire to do it. You kind of have it or you don't.
There's a major growing need for auto techs and other transportation technology workers, and the Pennsylvania College of Technology in Williamsport is trying to help. Penn Tech now has a federal grant of $1.5 million to support students majoring in transportation-related fields. But giving away that free money isn't as easy as it sounds.
So last year, we actually got about 10 applications, but only 5 students actually completed all the requirements, filled out gave us a letter from a teacher and told us why they wanted this money, which is kind of sad because we got this money. We want to give it away to students who are deserving, obviously.
The money is aimed at academically talented, low-income students. And Dean of Engineering Technologies, Brad Webb, says that the career has changed a lot from what it used to be.
I can show you, in the 1980s, we'd have a manual to work on a Buick. Now everything's online. We have deep charts. We plug computers into all of our equipment. In fact, there's more than 12 computers on an over-the-road truck that our students have to troubleshoot. So they're basically IT technicians, truly engineers who are trying to solve these problems. So it's not the dirty careers that many people would have thought of, 15, 20, 30 years ago.
The goal is to have 45 scholarship recipients. In State College, I'm Reagan Phillips for the Center County Report.
If you're interested in learning more about Penn Tech, make sure to visit their website at pct.edu. Wow, Abby, our weather's been quite a roller coaster this week. Let's check out what's happening on the weekend forecast.
It sure has. We'll check the 7-day forecast in just a few minutes. Also coming up, waiting in line in the State College cold is less than favorable. But now, there may be a shortcut. It's the end of an era for steak lovers in Center County. The Outback Steakhouse on Wattle Road is permanently closed. Parent company Bloomin' Brands is closing 41 locations. The company thanked the community for its support over the past 2 decades. The Patton Township location was the only Outback in Center County, and the next nearest location is in Altoona.
The cold weather and the long lines at State College bars can sometimes make going out for a drink a little bit less than perfect. But now there might be a solution to these long wait times, and not just for college students. Tyler Gallagher is live downtown with the story. Tyler?
Yeah, thanks, Alexa. I'm standing on Allen Street right now, which is one of the busiest streets in State College for bar goers. We're right underneath Bill Pickle's tap room at the moment. And behind me on my right, we have Champs, which is one of the most popular bars here in State College. And behind me on my left, we have Brothers, which is a new bar that has gone up recently here on Allen Street. It may not look like a whole lot right now, but as day turns tonight, both of these sidewalks will be flooded with people waiting in a line to get into one of these bars. And a Penn State student has created a unique way to gain a little more insight into these bar wait times before we even leave our house.
Go Bull!
Computer science student Nick Cole just launched his app Bull to help solve a problem in State College: long bar lines.
Everybody wants to know how long they're going to have to wait, especially most of the year in State College is very cold. So you have to know, am I going to be waiting in line for 20 minutes or am I going to be waiting in line for an hour?
Hoping to revolutionize the nightlife experience, Cole and his team took matters into their own hands by showing bar-goers live data of line wait times for bars downtown.
So basically the graph just shows a visual of how long the line is over the time of the night. So, it might go up and down. So you can kind of see, 10 p.m. is a little bit higher, but now it's a little bit lower.
From promoting to coding, Cole says developing the app has taken a long time, and he's still dedicated to improving his software. But without specific data from the bars, Cole's job gets even harder as he and his team must watch the lines firsthand to help their algorithm better predict the wait.
Yeah, we're kind of in a data collection phase right now. We've done a lot of testing, but it's just going to keep getting better and more accurate as time goes on.
He says his goal is to collect enough data to make the app fully automated so it can accurately predict wait times without human input. Until then, the Bull team continues to develop new features and creatively promote the app.
Right now, I'm kind of like, all right, this is working. So now I just have to figure out what's the future of Bull and where are we taking it from here.
Yeah, Cole and his team are still working on getting their app approved on mobile app store platforms. But until then, you can check the bar wait times yourself at gobull.app. Back to you guys in the studio.
Our roller coaster of a week for weather is dying down as we're rewarded with a Bluebird Friday today. However, Saturday showers will be rolling in and bringing with it some heavy cloud coverage for the early days of next week. Overall, this is a mild start to meteorological spring or the beginning of March. Behind me is Beaver Stadium with this blue sky and some high altitude clouds and a seemingly empty parking lot as students have already begun the migration for spring break. Current conditions are around 45 degrees with calm winds at a south-southwesterly flow at 13 miles per hour and strong sunshine. Looking at our radar and satellite, we can see high pressure is in control over the state, and to our west, we can see some high altitude clouds pushing in from the west over by Pittsburgh and Johnstown. Those clouds are associated with a low pressure system to our south centered around Atlanta that will be making its way north over the next few hours and be on our doorsteps in the overnight for tonight. Looking at temperatures around the area, we can see we're in these mid to upper 40s, reaching 50 to our north over in Erie, 46 down in Philadelphia. These temperatures are moderate for the beginning of March, as we will be keeping these temperatures through the next couple days as that cloud coverage will keep things pretty neutral. As we look at the futurecast and we watch this system arrive, we can see that by the evening hours of tonight, we have high altitude clouds to the east, thicker clouds on our west as that precipitation makes its way in. By Saturday in the early hours of the morning, by noonish, we'll have those showers situated out over the Atlantic and into New England, some straggling behind, but a thick, dense cloud coverage to our west. Sunday will be the pick of the weekend as we can see it clearing up over Center County. But by Monday, we start to see another system set up to our west, going through the Ohio Valley and on our doors by Wednesday afternoon. Putting this all in a forecast for us today, warmer and sunny for today with a high of 46. Those southerly winds bringing in some late night rain with a low of 35 for tonight. And for tomorrow, we will have a dreary morning as those showers make their way through with light and variable winds. Putting this together in that forecast, we can see temperatures take a trend upwards for our spring break, getting into the 60s by Monday and Tuesday, but that dense cloud coverage will keep things not so sunny for our week off.
Oh yeah, I'm sure looking forward to the warm weather.
Me too. I'm hoping our buddy Puxatawny Phil really comes through with this early spring.
No, yes. Hopefully he was right. Otherwise, I'm going to have to stay inside, and I might have to get me some Legos to keep me preoccupied.
Legos?
But also, yes, yeah. Have you heard of the Goodwill who recently found a treasure in their collection?
I haven't.
No, I have not.
Well, a Goodwill in Du Bois recently struck gold finding a bionicle Lego mask, which was recently discovered in their collection. It's made of 14-karat gold and believed to be one of 25. Ultimately, it sold for over $18,000. Goodwill says it plans to use the money to continue helping those in need. I'm definitely gonna check if I still have my collection around. You never know.
Check it out.
Yeah, could be lucky. But next up, we have Ethan with sports.
It's funny you talk about small Lego pieces. I actually got one stuck in my nose one time. Coming up in sports, can men's ice hockey sweep Ohio State in their last series of the regular season? And last summer, girls wrestling was classified as an official high school sport in Pennsylvania. Now 2 local girls have made history on the mat. I'm Ethan Zaretsky with sports. Penn State ice hockey has a big weekend ahead. On the men's side, the team is heading to Ohio State for their last season series of the regular season. The Nittany Lions are looking to bounce back after a heartbreaking 3-2 overtime loss to Wisconsin last weekend. As for the women, they've advanced to the CHA championship after a dominant semifinal win over RIT. They face Mercyhurst tomorrow. Penn State wrestling is off this weekend as it prepares for the Big Ten championships in Maryland. The Nittany Lions finished their regular season undefeated after a 55-0 win over Edinburgh on Sunday. During the duel, 3-time national champion Carter Starachi had to be helped off the mat after an injury. There's been no update on Starachi's status. The Big Ten championships begin next Friday. From college to high school wrestling, 2 local girls have made history on the mat. Angelina Grebe of Bald Eagle and Isabella Duval of Phillipsburg Osceola claimed the first district titles for their school and Center County. Grebe won the 148-pound class and Duval dominated the 124-pound class. Both will be joined by teammates at regionals, with Bald Eagle sending 3 and Phillipsburg sending 6. Pennsylvania sanctioned girls wrestling as an official high school sport last summer. Regionals take place tomorrow. Penn State men's lacrosse will return to Panzer Stadium against Yale tomorrow afternoon after a 2-game road trip. The Nittany Lions are on a 3-game winning streak following their Week 1 loss to Colgate, placing them at number 12 in the nation. Penn State will face its first ranked opponent this year in number 9 Yale. Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week Alex Ross will have a tough test against the Bulldogs' leading scorer, Matt Brandaw, who had 13 points in their last game. In Penn State men's gymnastics, Josh Carnes was named to the U.S. Senior National Gymnastics team. The junior, Pennsylvania native, showcased his talents at the 2024 Winter Cup in Louisville. Carnes finished 9th in the all-around with a score of 160.5. State High basketball team will compete for a higher seed in the PIAA state tournament against McDowell. The Little Lions finished the season with a 10-12 record, going 6-8 in conference play. Their 51-44 win over Mifflin County in the District 6 championship game punched the team's ticket into the state tournament. They play McDowell in the sub-regional game to decide the final seeding in the state's bracket. In the NCAA, there has been an average of 3 court stormings per week over the last 3 months. After an incident at Wake Forest this past weekend, the concern for student-athlete safety is at an all-time high. Fans love storming the court after completing an upset. Just last week, Penn State fans rushed the hardwood after taking down 12th-ranked Illinois.
A lot of the students I saw were saying, hey, this is my first court storming, and they were just sort of overjoyed to do it. So it'd be a shame to totally lose it.
Duke center Kyle Filipowski suffered a knee injury after Wake Forest students rushed the court. This is the second incident of its kind within just a few weeks. This has some colleges and universities considering banning the tradition.
I'm more concerned about the well-being of our guys. You know, Flip sprains his ankle. When are we going to ban court storming?
Duke head coach John Shire wants to know when enough is enough.
Like, how many times does a player have to get into something where they get punched or they get pushed or they get taunted?
Thankfully, Filipowski was not seriously injured and played in the Blue Devils' victory on Wednesday against Louisville. That's all for sports. Hopefully Flipkowski is feeling 100% by March Madness.
Hopefully they figure out how to continue the tradition of court storming while keeping everyone safe. Thank you, Ethan.
Thanks, Ethan.
Coming up next, for the 18th consecutive year, Penn State celebrates the greatest symbol of the American Indian identity.
For the 18th straight year, Penn State held its traditional American Indian powwow in State College. It's recognized as one of the most authentic in North America. Marie Moyer has the story.
Hundreds of dancers and visitors came from across North America from as far away as Arizona, Washington, and Canada. The Penn State American Powwow returned to State College this year for its first February celebration. It gave friends and family a chance to reconnect with each other and their spiritual roots.
It's really all about the gathering and bringing people together, practicing those traditions and keeping those traditions going into the future.
Open to the public with free admission, guests were met with vibrant colors, ringing jingle dresses, and a drum circle, the heartbeat to this sacred celebration. Visitors could also check out authentic vendors and craftsmen. Tuscarora artist Heather Hill marks this as her third year at the gathering.
What actually inspired us is we just do crafts at home. We started making crafts, we just kept going with it, and it just grew and grew from that point on. It became a hobby, it turned into a business, and now it's a passion.
Some of the more popular items included traditional ribbon skirts, dream catchers, and silver and beaded jewelry.
And if you're ever feeling hungry, head down to the cafeteria, where the Penn State Powwow has head chefs creating authentic meals like bison burgers, corn soup, Indian tacos, and of course, fry bread.
Plans for next year's event are already in the works, ready to return once again as a symbol of the American Indian identity. In State College, I'm Marie Moyer for the Center County Report.
And that's all for today's newscast.
But you can follow us anytime for breaking news on our Center County Report X. And you can see our stories on our Facebook page, Instagram, YouTube, and website. Have a good afternoon.